Today, we're looking at 2001 A Space Odyssey, and specifically, we're going back to the moon. Hey, hello, and welcome to my channel. And as you can see from the title, we're talking about that moon mission from 2001 A Space Odyssey. And yes, there's a very specific reason why. As you can see here, NASA actually have a new moon mission called Firefly Blue Ghost Mission 1, which launched a little over a month ago on January 15th, 2025, and it's supposed to land on the moon this weekend. Now, there aren't any people on board this one, it's just scientific instruments. But this seemed like a good time to look back at a few of the more mysterious details of the moon mission from 2001 A Space Odyssey. So let's get started. Well, first, I guess we have to start with the first time we meet Dr. Heywood Floyd, since he is sort of our main character on the moon. When we first meet Heywood Floyd, he's arriving to the space station on his way to the moon. When he speaks to some other people, perhaps scientists, we get this really strange conversation about a possible epidemic that has broken out at the Clavius moon base, where Heywood Floyd will be going. Oddly, although he could answer no to this question as to whether there is an epidemic at Clavius, he just doesn't answer the question at all, leaving everyone with the impression that there might be a serious epidemic there. I've always wondered if there is something we aren't being told. Dr. Floyd then gets on a ship to depart for the moon. We see his ship landing and then going underground into what appears to be a quite large, mostly underground moon base, with quite a few people working there. From what we can see, there are quite a few military looking structures above ground, too. In another odd detail, before Dr. Floyd addresses an apparently high security clearance meeting, he gets his picture taken. Not sure why pics are needed here, but then Floyd gets to the podium to speak and congratulates them on their discovery. We assume he's talking about the discovery of the monolith, or maybe just the discovery of the magnetic anomaly. We aren't sure. He also says the epidemic is just a cover story, but says absolute secrecy is needed, and everyone is told they have to sign security oaths in writing. It's a bit heavy, and there's no question to me that this is a military operation. He then gets on board a smaller ship to actually go to the Tycho Crater with several other men wearing silver spacesuits. Then they bring out some evidence about the crater Tycho and the magnetic anomaly found there. According to them, not even a large nickel and iron meteorite could produce a field that intense. Something was apparently buried there, and they think it was deliberately buried, though we aren't quite sure why. And they say the only thing they know is it was buried 4 million years ago. Again, I'm not sure where they came up with that number of 4 million years. I know someone will probably say they must have carbon dated the sediment around the monolith. But guess what? You can't carbon date things on the moon. That only works on organic materials that were once alive. Maybe they used some other method, but I don't completely trust the story these guys are telling. Now, we should say a word about Tycho Crater, because that is where the monolith is found on the moon. According to the astronauts Floyd talks to on the moon, they found an intense magnetic anomaly at the Tycho Crater, and that is the only reason they went to start digging there. But Tycho Crater was already known to have an electromagnetic disturbance in it, perhaps caused by its composition or the impact that created it. But I have to wonder, if Tycho already had some magnetic anomaly, then perhaps that's not the sole reason the military is drawn to start digging there. Digging anything up on the moon is such a big job. I suspect there is another reason they were digging there. But of course, there's a lot of secrecy involved in any big project overseen by the military. Then Floyd suits up as they get ready to land. Also, it seems like there are already people waiting for them at Tycho as someone watches them land. We then arrive at this rather hilly area that we are told is Tycho. And here you can see the monolith at the bottom of this lit up designated area. They walk down to get closer to the strange structure. Does anyone else find it weird that they haven't totally dug this thing up? Notice the dirt still piled up around the base. Just a detail, but you might think they would dig all the way down and just dig it out or transport it elsewhere. Do they know it has to be upright to transmit signals to Jupiter? In the same way the ape men's monolith had to be standing upright? Because I think some of the people involved with this moon monolith know more than they are saying. I mean, again, we have a photographer. Why would they think they needed one now? They've had plenty of time to take pics and videos of this thing. But then, of course, we get the iconic shot of Heywood Floyd touching the monolith, mirroring the ape men when they touched the monolith. As everyone comes in for a group photo, the monolith emits a piercing sound. I have to wonder if that's what the photographer wanted to film. According to the novel 2001, the piercing sound happens when sunlight hits the monolith for the first time since it was uncovered. But surely sunlight has been hitting it every day, since if they've had time to run any type of tests and erect a structure around it, then it wasn't just dug up this morning. Now, one of the strangest details about this moon mission is the fact that there already seems to be a crew there waiting in the dark for Floyd and his guys to land at Tycho. And there's a full structure built around the monolith. This obviously wasn't just uncovered today. It must take time to dig something out on the moon and then to build things like landing areas. It gives me the impression that these guys telling Floyd about the Tycho magnetic anomaly have known about this monolith for a long time, and I feel they aren't telling Floyd everything they know. Just my opinion. Also, you have to remember, when this film came out in 1968, we hadn't yet gotten to the moon. The Apollo 11 crew would land on the moon a year later in 1969. But the anticipation and buildup going into that mission was basically the biggest story on the planet, perhaps ever, because humans were finally going to leave Earth and land on another world. So it was a big deal. And that time was characterized by something known as the space race, which basically meant that Russia and the USA were both trying to see who could get to the moon first. I can't help but think some of that same intrigue and paranoia and even secretive cloak and dagger stuff plays out here with our moon mission, as scientists are given fake cover stories about epidemics, and even Floyd is given a story about the monolith that I'm not sure is completely true. It seems there are many stories within stories here regarding our moon mission. Well, that's my video about that mysterious moon mission from 2001 A Space Odyssey. I hope you liked it. I'm working on something special for next week, and I hope to have that up soon. Also, a huge thank you to my comment section, who are always noticing interesting details. And it would help my channel if you did hit that subscribe button. But either way, my name is Shim, and good luck to NASA's Blue Ghost mission landing on the moon this weekend.